Hello, everybody. Hello. Another amazing large audience. Wow. Many familiar faces and some new faces. Fantastic. Hello, everybody. Thank you for spending time on a Saturday for us to have this event. Welcome to Venture Starters. Let me mute everybody real quick so we can keep some order in the room. I'll start with announcements in just a moment here. Hold on, everybody. And then we'll get into the pitches. We have a lot of people that want to pitch today. I've had more emails about pitching today than our normal Wednesday events. So sort of guessing we're going to have a fairly large crowd that wants to pitch. And actually, since I already see that we've got 21 people lined up, those of you who would like to pitch, if you go to the reaction button and look for the raise hand, that's how you get in the queue. I'll repeat that one more time later when we get more people in the room. I see more are still coming, filtering in. We're already over 60 people, looks like. This is amazing. You guys rock. I mean, you keep showing up every time. It is, to me, it is a marvel that, especially given that we're so new, and it's really now word of mouth because oh, good. Thank you for letting them in. So I have two assistants. You'll see my picture up a couple of times. Without their help, I wouldn't be able to put on this event. So I won't be able to see anything in the chat. If you are actually trying to reach out to me directly, just know that I'm not looking at the chat. My assistant is managing the chat for me, and I may or may not see anything there. I did put my email address after my name, and if any of you would like to reach me directly, that is a good email. We're still letting people in. Thank you all for attending. All right, let me get started with some announcements, and those that arrive late, hopefully they will hear the important stuff. This is a life science focused event. Now, we do have a lot of people in our community who are pitching lots of different industries. Today is not the day to pitch unless you are part of the life sciences community. Pharmaceuticals, medical devices, things involving molecules, everything in life sciences that you can imagine, that's what we would like to hear about. But if you're doing something that isn't life science, come back to our Wednesday event and pitch us then. Don't pitch us today. Also, everybody, please stay on mute unless you're speaking. We do want everybody to speak if they're going to be pitching, or if you have a question or a comment after somebody pitches. I usually ask for one or two comments or questions real quickly to keep the event fast-paced and moving forward. If you'd like to speak, you can unmute, but otherwise, please be on mute. It's easier for the audience to enjoy the event when they do not have to listen to a lot of people that are talking in the background. Venture Starters is a community for the people who start ventures. We are already a successful community, just 90 days old. We've had 5,000 people, more than 5,000, that have registered for our events. I have over 4,000 emails of various participants. We have 50,000, well, actually, I think we're almost up to 60,000 views of our replays on YouTube. We might be at 60,000 within the next couple of days. Thank you all for going to our YouTube channel and subscribing and liking. The likes do help. That's how we get all these people from around the world that are attracted to watch our videos. We have almost 3,000 followers of our LinkedIn community page. And if you aren't already a follower, please try and go to our Venture Starters community page and follow it, and also join the newsletter. It will definitely help if you are part of the newsletter. You'll also be able to receive a lot of important information quickly. All of the pitches today need to be 2-minute elevator pitches. There's no slides. The whole idea behind this event is networking. So just consider your 2-minute pitch like a tease, and the investors in the room and others that are in the room that would like to connect with you, they'll do that in the chat. If you haven't opened up your chat yet, open up your chat. That's where you should basically put information about who you are, how to reach you, and especially after you've pitched, please go into the chat and make sure that people have a pathway to be able to get to you. The rules of the event are very simple. Be nice. This is a community of people that I hope will just continue to be nice to each other. We're not trying to embarrass anybody. If you want to dive deep about a pitch, you can do that in the chat or offline. But at the event, we want everybody to be nice. Even the questions that you pose, they need to be general questions and not a question that's designed to trip anybody up. So, but I do want you to ask questions. This is a smart audience. Our life science community is an extremely smart audience. So please don't hold back on questions. Just do them in a nice way. If any of you are calling in or have a really poor signal, I will probably cut you off because it's painful for the audience to have to try and listen through a really bad signal. It doesn't mean that we don't want you to come back, reboot yourself, try and get in the queue again. It just means that it's just too painful for us to handle. So I apologize in advance if I end up having to cut you off. And also, if the room starts to get noisy, I only have a mute all button. I don't have the ability to selectively, or unless someone on my team can figure out who is actually making the noise. So if you're in the middle of the pitch and I end up having to mute everybody, I apologize. I'll let you know right away, and then you can restart. It won't affect your 2 minutes. We don't actually have a clock. It's sort of self-regulated event. But please don't try and give a business plan speech. This is just a tease. We just want to get to know you. Try and keep it to 2 minutes because we already have 33 people that want to pitch today, and more will probably sign up. And for those of you who just arrived, the way that you can get in the queue to pitch is by going to the reaction button and selecting the raise hand. That's the only way we know how to choose who's going to be pitching. It's the queue that Zoom sets up with the raised hands. We hold an event every Wednesday. So I would say, for those of you in the life sciences community, you might think this is the only event to attend that's part of Venture Starters community. Don't, because if you come to our Wednesday event, you're going to find that 1 out of every 4 or 1 out of every 5 pitches happens to be life sciences. So we're still, the life science community thrives even at our Wednesday events. And, so I encourage you to keep showing up. Part of what we're trying to do is get you to become known to our community and our community to know you. The more times you show up, the more comfortable they become with you, the more they will add value to you, make suggestions to you, make introductions to you. The reason why this event was created is because in 2022, and I predict 2023, warm introductions to investors are the only way to really secure the investments you're looking for. Pitching total strangers is really hard. You're basically in a beauty pageant, and it would be way better if you can, reach out to others and create opportunities for warm introductions, including the investors that do attend our event. Again, if you're just arriving, mute. Please stay on mute unless you're speaking. I want to thank all the helpers, not just my 2 assistants, but a few people in our community who have taken time to promote our events and help us by doing other things that are all very useful, including creating some mailing lists and email lists that you might be able to find through the chat so you can connect with more and more people. Please treat any of the introductions to the people you meet at our events with the same level of caution as you should do at any other networking event. Please keep that in mind. All of our events you can find at venturestarters.com. You can also see the calendar of events coming up. We are going to take a break for Thanksgiving, and we're going to take a break for Christmas and New Year's. But generally speaking, we're trying to do an event every Wednesday, occasionally a Saturday event when it makes sense, like we have a very large life science community. You can register for the events there. There's more. And if you want to meet me in one-on-one, my calendar is at the very bottom of the landing page of venturestarters.com. And you can sign up to have a one-on-one session with me. Many of you know I like to mentor and help wherever I can. So also lastly, for those of you that like to pitch with a slideshow, there is an event called Startup Right, and I'm sure somebody will put information about that in the chat. It's sold out for the next few events, from what I understand. I've been on the investor panel most of this year. It's a great event, highly recommend it. And that's a place where you can do the full 5-minute pitch with the slides and the 5-minute Q&A. It's called Startup Right. You can find them on LinkedIn. It would be a recommendation from the Venture Starters community. I want to get us started as soon as possible on the pitching because we have 36 people that want to pitch. So again, let's try and keep the pitches to 2 minutes. I can already see with 89 participants in the room now, we're going to have over 100 people that will attend this event, and we're probably going to have at least 3,000 that will watch the replay of it on our YouTube channel. So congratulations to all of you for being here and for being part of this amazing community. I attribute all the success of this community to all of you because you keep showing up at all of our events. It's a wonderful thing. So we're going to get started. Our first person up is Lynn Donaldson. Lynn, take it away.
Hi, I'm Lynn Donaldson, CEO of Connect8 Strategic Solutions Group. We are product launch enablers for medical and pharmaceutical device companies and have been for the last 10 years. We partner with life science teams to go to market more effectively, driven by our framework pillars of people, product, and process. Working with clients, including Fortune 500 companies, we noticed them struggling with unwieldy Excel sheets to capture detailed strategy and implementation plans, which are then needed to be translated for leadership. This is time consuming, resulting in launches going over budget by thousands of dollars. Raw data as seen in spreadsheets is not senior management friendly, doesn't map goals to key activities, and doesn't provide a snapshot. But our new SaaS tool, Lily Launch Tools, is senior management friendly. It does map goals to key activities as seen in the charts, and it does provide a snapshot that saves time and money. And here's how we're different from other tools. We are designed specifically for the pharmaceutical and medical devices industry. We are the only tool that maps from goals right down to key activities. Both Gantt and Kanban charts are offered to all customers at all subscription levels. So let us show you how easy and seamless managing your product launch could be in a personalized Lily Launch Tools demo. Your team will love you for it. And we're looking to raise 1 million pre-seed for 10% equity, which will help us, 1, with further product development enhancement, 2, with customer acquisition, and 3, with operating expenses. I'm Lynn Donaldson, CEO of Connect8 Strategic Solutions Group. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. But just out of curiosity, is your product developed already? Are you? Yes. It's ready to show off immediately. Okay. Does anybody have any questions or comments? All right, Lynn. It typically happens that for the very first couple of people who speak, our audience is a little shy to be the first ones to ask questions. You can meet people in the chat. It's wonderful to have you. Thank you very much. Up next is Ahmed.
Thank you, Mark. Hello, everyone. My name is Ahmed Zobi. I'm the CEO of Cinter Health Technologies. Cinter's premise is to harness the power of the patient's own fat tissue to treat aging-related conditions. The problem in the medical field today is that there are multiple solutions for each human ailment or condition that we suffer with, versus a true platform technology that can target various conditions. That is a major bottleneck to advancing the world of medicine. Cinter Health Technologies has developed a medical device, which is right here, that allows us to process the patient's own fat tissue, break it down into smaller pieces, microsizing it, and allowing us to reimplant it back into the patient. We are cleared in over 12 surgical specialties by the FDA, and we are currently targeting 3 major use cases: aesthetics for plastic surgery, facial rejuvenation, breast cancer reconstructive surgery, general surgery with regards to diabetic foot ulcer treatment, and orthopedic surgery to prevent patients from having to do a total knee replacement and instead using and harnessing their own fat tissue to provide for relief and aid in healing and rejuvenation. We're raising our Series A round, and we'd be happy to talk to you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
like, is this invasive or minimally invasive?
Minimally invasive. So we basically do it under local anesthesia. So you don't need to have an anesthesiologist on site. It's an outpatient procedure. You basically numb up the area. The doctor will make a small incision, fill up the area with saline or tumescent fluid to kind of bulge up the area so that you can access the fat. Take it out in less than 10 minutes, and then we process the fat tissue at the point of care and re-inject it. The whole procedure takes under 45 minutes.
So is this like a sort of liposuction type procedure?
The procedure itself to take out the fat is called hand liposuctioning or mini liposuctioning. The processor right behind me, what it does is it utilizes mechanical forces to break down the fat cells, because larger clusters of fat cells, when you reimplant it back into the patient, it does not retain its total volume because it dies over time, because the blood supply from your body cannot penetrate through to the core of that fat tissue. So what we're trying to do is, by breaking down the cells into smaller pieces, it allows the body's own blood vessel formation and new blood vessel formation to really target and make sure that the fat is well supplied with blood, oxygen, and nutrients.
Yeah, I'd love to see your pitch deck. I might have some leads for you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Anybody else with a comment or question?
I have a question. How much are you raising for your Series A, and have you already raised any of that yet? Do you have a lead investor?
Yes, so we raised a 2.2 million seed. We're raising right now anywhere between a 6 to 10 Series A. We're even thinking about tranching it. We're a $4 million first and then raise $6 million later. We have not landed a lead yet, but we have raised about $1 million into the Series A thus far.
Okay, I also have an investor that might leave the round if you're interested in connecting
Okay, yeah.
afterwards.
I can't see your video, but if you could shoot me a private message on the chat, I'd love to chat with you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else real quick? We'll move on then. Thank you, Ahmed.
Perfect. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.
Rajiv, you're up next.
Thank you, Mark. By a show of hands, how many here would like an additional $1 or $5 million added to their top line? This isn't a trick question. Okay, good to know. We're here. We will help you achieve this by enabling faster launch time and employing a winning strategy. Hello, my name is Rajiv Jadhav, co-founder and COO of Lilly Launch Tools, a state-of-the-art, all-encompassing turnkey SaaS solution that is the answer to your efficiency headaches, and one which will lower your cost of sales. You're probably thinking, how is this going to work, right? Well, Lilly's visual reporting capability includes Kanban charts, Gantt charts, and a dynamic interactive strategy builder, all of which is senior management friendly, making monthly and quarterly reporting a breeze. Lilly Launch Tools enables seamless and fast collaboration and communication between team members inside the tool itself. So now everyone knows exactly what they need to do. Also, Lilly's customized dashboard provides team members the singular focus on the actions, items that they are specifically responsible for, without distracting them with overwhelming information that may not be completely relevant to them or their task. In the past 15 years, I've successfully helped Fortune 500 companies like Marriott, Unilever, Citi, Procter & Gamble, Disney, achieve successful launches, often doubling their forecasted sales. We're looking to raise $2 million pre-seed for 10% equity, which will help us with further product development and enhancement, customer acquisition, and operating expenses.
Fantastic. Anybody have any questions? Meet others in the chat then. We'll move on. Up next is David.
Hi, I'm Dave Richards, co-founder and CEO of CareSpace. We started with initial funding from Medtronic, a global medical device company, and our current focus is in supporting virtual therapy. Every 7 seconds, an employee is injured on the job. That leads to roughly $120 billion in direct and indirect costs annually to the employer. CareSpace is digitizing musculoskeletal care to reduce workplace injury and streamline recovery for employees. The CareSpace virtual therapy platform utilizes a mobile or webcam powered by proprietary visual AI learning to objectively assess and record accurate mobility measurements. We use this data to assign virtual rehab programs where patients record their progress and virtual therapists get paid for remote care management. We make the biggest impact through our Performance Plus tool that's designed for injury prevention and performance improvement. The CareSpace recommendations engine determines the employee's baseline mobility score, and it assigns a personalized virtual rehab program. CareSpace has been incubated within the Providence Healthcare System. We currently support highly valuable paid pilots with employers with a frontline employee workforce that use repetitive motion to do their job. With our first customers, we're expecting to generate a 30% reduction in workplace injuries, resulting in $3 million in first-year cost savings. We are unique from our competition who only treat at point of injury, who have privately held practitioner-led ecosystems, and are expensive that don't scale. The CareSpace virtual therapy solution covers the entire journey: injury prevention, recovery, performance improvement, using a highly scalable approach at an affordable price. We've generated $2.5 million in revenue to date, and we're expecting to expand our revenue streams beyond traditional SaaS through a white label offering of our platform and program. We're currently raising $2.5 million as a pre-seed convertible note to prepare us for our Series A. We only have $250K left to close this round. The funds are going to be utilized to fast track the onboarding of customer opportunities that will generate $75K in MRR in the next 6 months. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. By the way, your background is really impressive.
Thank you.
Among the more impressive that we've had at our event the last few months. Any questions real quick?
David, a quick question. So is this like some sort of AI type thing, or is it like using some model, or what is this?
Yeah, so we have developed proprietary visual AI models that take advantage of a mobile or webcam to track range of motion. And then from there, we assign a mobility score that auto-generates prescribed rehab exercises and performance improvement exercises that employees can do to reduce the likelihood of an injury on the job.
So is it something like what Mirror is doing?
Without the expensive hardware.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Anybody else? Meet Dave in the chat. By the way, I forgot to mention to everybody, it's just a suggestion. You can push the three buttons on your photo and go to the very bottom. There's an option that says rename, and in the rename you can add your email address after your name so that people can actually see your email address, and that will be helpful for the video replays. Just an idea. Anyways,
Hey,
thank you, Dave.
Just real quick, Mark, thanks
Yeah,
for being the hero. Thank you for being the hero of startups. Truly appreciate all your work. Thank you.
I appreciate your compliment. Thanks.
Oh, we love it. Thanks again.
All right, let's move on. Next up is Kent.
Hey everybody, I'm Kent Kemish. I'm the CEO and founder of Molecular Reality Corporation. We're a YC-backed biotech gaming startup. First, I'd like to give an update to anyone who heard our first pitch here a few weeks ago. We've added 5 new angels to our seed round, but the big news is that George Church of Harvard, the father of genomics and one of Time Magazine's 100 most influential people in the world, is now an actual investor in our seed round. While George is known worldwide as one of the most creative and accomplished scientists of his generation, it is virtually unheard of for him to invest in a startup. If you're an accredited investor and you'd like to see what we showed George the day he invested, get in touch with me at kent@molecularreality.com. So about Molecular Reality, we've built a nanopore-based gaming device that players fill a reservoir with cells and molecules from inside them and around them, and they collect data for large experiments coordinated across a global network while generating gaming experiences from the data. These gamified experiments will advance science across many disciplines: astrobiology, aging research, genomics, carbon capture, molecular gastronomy, veterinary science, agriculture, neurobiology, synthetic biology, drug development, and many more. As just one example, Doge Bio, our game of canine veterinary science, will allow player scientists to discover and study biomarkers from biological fluid samples taken from their very own favorite quadrupeds. Initially, we'll make money by selling consoles, accessories, reagent kits, and professional access to the network of instruments and its advanced capabilities. Later, based on the IP license terms users agree to, we hope to make tiny but cumulatively large royalties from FDA-approved diagnostics developed on our gaming console. And further down the road, from shared licensing of molecular therapies and synthetic biology manufacturing methods developed on our network. Our goal is to make the network the most powerful scientific platform ever built, with orders of magnitude more experimental throughput than any single commercial device. We aim to build the backbone of molecular sensing, allowing regular people to see the molecules inside them and around them. It's hard to overstate the potential impact, not only on the trillion-dollar biotech services industry, but also on culture, education, biomanufacturing, prevention of bioterrorism and future pandemics, and on all of health and care in general. Thank you.
Thank you, Kent. Anybody have a question? Apparently not.
I'd like
Go for it.
to
Please.
I'd like to say that I think the animals actually improved the presentation because they made you smile while you were talking to us, and it just boosted the feeling.
He would totally ruin the presentation if I weren't holding him. He's freaking out about some leaf blowers outside, so it was unintentional.
Yeah, but it worked well.
Kent, I'll look for you in the chat. Justin Lancaster here with Quick Bio. We have some fun stuff to talk about.
Cool. Yeah, let's connect.
Anybody else? All right. Thank you, Kent. We're going to move on. Up next is David. Good to see you, David.
How's it going? Thank you. Appreciate it, Mark. I'm David Peczkowski, the founder and CEO of DapperCare. We are a healthcare technology company. The average American waits 27 days to get an appointment and see a doctor in person. I personally was diagnosed with cluster headaches a few months back, and the earliest I could get in to see a specialist was 8 months out, and this was over at Stanford. That experience made me realize how broken and antiquated the healthcare system is today. And the process that people have to go through is cumbersome and inexpensive. I wanted to develop a solution to this problem I experienced firsthand. And that's when I came up with DapperCare. DapperCare connects consumers with licensed medical professionals and enables everyone to seek the health and wellness care that they deserve, no matter who they are or where they're located, or if they have insurance. Our goal is to be the first stop in people's journey to accessing treatments for hundreds of conditions utilizing our multi-condition health and wellness platform, providing access to high quality, affordable care without the need for insurance. Our solution is a digitally native platform, and our DapperCare consists of a consumer brand, a distributed provider network licensed in all 50 states, in EHR, e-prescriptions, and a cloud pharmacy. We are currently raising $3.5 million to cover operations, development, and marketing costs. I started working on this company in March of 2021. I'm a serial founder. I'm a software engineer, and I've been in the digital marketing space for 23 years. This is actually my 14th startup, so I've gone through the ringer a few times. I built a team of all seasoned, experienced executives that each, have, roughly 15 to 20 years And we've got about 18 employees currently. I've specialized in the health and wellness space for over 20 years. So I've perfected this audience, direct-to-consumer, subscription-based model. That's what I've always done, and that's what we're doing now. I'm confident that I can, we're planning a soft launch on December 12th. I've put about $250,000 into this company so far myself. I've got one investor, and I've raised money before. I raised $3 million in 2020 for my e-commerce company as well. So that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, David. Does anybody have any questions?
Would you mind asking, how do you see this company in 3 to 5 years?
You're going to have to speak up. We can barely hear you.
This company over the next 3 to 5 years. Sorry about that.
Repeat the question from the
Yes,
beginning.
sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, how do you see this company over the next 3 to 5 years?
As far as revenue wise or
Yeah,
growth?
your goal, your vision.
Yeah, so I've got a pretty detailed financial roadmap that business, financial model put together that I'm happy to share with you. But our 5-year plan is to have an exit our valuation at I think it's roughly $430 million. So so we're launching in all 50 states, and we plan to scale quite quickly. So first year we'll do, we're being pretty conservative, but just shy of $2 million in revenue, and then it should go double every year. So
Anybody else have a question?
When are you planning to launch
on the 12th
of this month?
nope of December.
Oh, cool. Okay. Very cool. I'd love to connect. I think we were supposed to connect last time, but I'll shoot you a message in the chat.
Yeah,
right now.
that'd be great.
Anybody else real quick? Thank you, David.
Yeah, thank
Pleasure
you.
to see you again. Justin,
Yeah.
before you start, we had a technical glitch on our end, and I need to bring Jeffrey Cohen up next, and then Justin, you'll be right after that. Jeffrey, are you available?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Thank you for everybody for attending. So my name is Jeff Cohen. I'm the CEO and founder of My Life ID. And we are tackling a problem that you just recently heard about from DapperCare, which is delay in treatments and the enormous expense that it creates in the United States alone. That number is over $750 billion per year. That's over $5,000 in unnecessary expenses per household in the United States. The reason for this is because health data is not accessible. Every healthcare company has their own silo, their own data formats. Even when people store data using the HL7 standards, it doesn't mean they distribute the information that way. It doesn't mean they exchange the information. And in fact, in most cases, they limit what they share because that's how they protect their market. We in My Life ID specialize in aggregating, synthesizing, and redistribution of health data throughout the entire healthcare ecosystem. That means we collect data from Epic, from United Healthcare, from Fitbit, from Apple, from Android, from your Bluetooth scale, from your glucose measure, and we combine it into a comprehensive patient profile, which is available on our health cloud or through our portable My Life ID Pocket Cloud, so you can have your healthcare information with you anywhere in the world in up to 100 languages, and you can give it to anybody. So I'm going to use DapperCare as an example. If you have health insurance with Humana and you decide to use DapperCare to get a great deal, how are you getting your health data to the specialist at DapperCare? You're going to use My Life ID, because we're going to put you in control of all of your data, regardless of what source it is, provided to the doctor that you're getting through DapperCare, with a full audit trail of every piece of information, so that doctor knows where it came from, what the source is, how recent it is, and how reliable it is. If you ask your doctor today, How much of your health record do they have? They don't even know, because they don't know what rules in their own health system allow them to see data or not see data. Medical clearinghouses and insurance companies are setting premiums based on only 55% of an average person's health record. That's why premiums are so high. Health data is, or lack of health data, is why clinical trials spend an average of $6,500 per participant to launch a trial. But we can aggregate data, deliver it to those clinical trials, significantly less money, which means cheaper to run trials, faster to run trials, cheaper medication when they come through the FDA, lower premiums, better prices, more affordable healthcare. That's what we're doing. We're raising $2 million. We are already generating revenue. We have over 16 contracts, and we are ready to explode. Please join me and invest with MyLifeID.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Jeff.
Jeffrey,
Questions? Go ahead.
Jeffrey, quick
Yes.
question. So is this like MyChart?
We incorporate, okay, so that's a great question. MyChart is a mobile app that has limited health information that you can get on your phone. We incorporate that data and add to it from every other source that you have medical or health information, so that we are a superset. If you take MyChart on your phone to a doctor and ask him to use MyChart, good luck. If you're in the Jacob Javits Center and you're relying on MyChart in the health emergency, good luck. If you're in Kenya on safari, good luck. If you're in the middle of Florida with a hurricane, good luck. Because cell towers are the first things that go in a disaster. So we incorporate MyChart, but we are far greater. We also, November 14th, we're written up for being one of the top 10 EMR platforms for 2022. So we won that award. And we're also endorsed by the American Association of Ringside Physicians. We're doing a white label with them for combat sports. But we have a huge comparison that I'd be happy to share with you after the Zoom, so we don't take up too much time.
This is Billy Duke. I have a quick question for Jeff. You said you use 100 languages. How did you program those languages? Are you using AI, machine learning, or Google Translate?
Oh, no Google Translate, please.
Okay.
We use AI and ML, and we use native language medical translators from different countries around the world, so that we standardize terms and slang and colloquialism so they can be understood.
Okay, because that's the same thing our company does. So maybe you and I could connect. I'll send you
Absolutely, would love to.
an invite.
Jeffrey, what do you do with data security measures? Because that could be, and is this really patient facing, or how do the patients even know that you're using their data? And will it cause some problems in the future?
Okay, so we consider ourselves a hub in the middle of the ecosystem. We have patient-facing software plus the MyLifeID Pocket Cloud that you can carry everything with you. You are actually the person that is deciding to put the information into my MyLife system and granting it access. And you can, for example, you can put in your Medicare information and we'll pull it from Medicare. You can put in your Epic passwords and we'll pull it from Epic. You can pull in your OpenEMR information, we'll pull it from OpenEMR. Or you can import, or you can upload scans or your CCA data sheets from your QuickCare. We have 7 different methods of incorporating data, but you do not have to type it in yourself. We are HIPAA compliant, GDPR compliant, IPA compliant, CCPA compliant, et cetera, all the way through.
Yeah, but the patient itself does not benefit from it. But once your data gets aggregated, the people can sell the data, they make money out of monetize it, but the patient is out of it. So I just want to understand whether this is really patient facing, or is it mainly for the clinicians and the researchers?
It is, but we have both halves. But for the patient, here's where the patient benefits. The patient gets the data faster. They can cut down the amount of time it takes to get to a specialist. They can choose the doctor they want to go through because they're in control of the data. They can accelerate the time it takes to get diagnostic treatment, which reduces their out-of-pocket expenses. And think about this, 80 million people global are business travelers. They're out of network. Our product gives them the ability to have their data with them so that they can get treated no matter where they are traveling for business. Truck drivers, 18 million truck drivers, always out of their home network. With our product, they are in control of their data. They can go into any doctor, any clinic, and have all their information with them and get treated faster without duplicate tests, without excessive out-of-pocket expenses. 40 million medical tourists. take their information with them safely and securely, they can get their treatments, reduce the amount of duplicate tests and unnecessary delays.
Okay. Jeffrey, we're going to have to move on. It was great to
Understood.
have you. Thank you so very much, especially to everybody who asked a question. We are going to move on to Justin. Good to have you, Justin.
Thank you, Mark. Good to be here. Can you hear me okay? I'm in the
Yes,
car.
we're
All
good.
right. I'll be very quick. I'm going to put my slides into the chat. I'm Justin Lancaster with QuickBio, also with Crowd Cure Disease and with Medical Services Online. We have a vision for a world where we can come online to find any practitioner who will serve us in telemedicine space. Telemedicine is growing rapidly. It's a $9 billion industry for 40 companies today, and it's going to be a $50 to $100 billion space very, very shortly this decade. This space is going to play into what Kent and David and Jeffrey showed you. We're going to be sitting there with a virtual simulation of ourselves. Our digital copy is going to be exposed to our doctor online who will be sending us test kits. We'll be able to jump in there and do our own experiments and send them out to a contract research lab and get that work done. And that information will come back. We'll be able to collaborate, much like in a Slack mode where we're on a Slack channel with others who have our same inflammation or pre-diabetic or have prostate cancer, and we're going to solve these diseases together. QuickBio has the US patent for e-marketplace for medical services, so we're going to have partners in that space for third-party medical services, and we have an advanced research engine that allows you to automatically generate hypotheses that will lead to the experiments you need to test to get after solving your own diseases. You're going to work with your doctors with more advanced tools than they have today in pharma. So please look for my slides in chat, and I'd love to talk to you. We're looking for 500,000 in a pre-seed. We've taken no outside funding yet. We're bootstrapping. I need technical co-founders. We've got to hire a few software engineers to get this first prototype launched in the next few months.
Great. Anybody have a quick question? Justin, you know, you can meet everybody in the chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark.
Actually, just ironically, we have a second Justin back to back. And welcome, Justin. You're still on mute.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, thank you. Yes, always good to be followed up by another Justin. Well, thank you, Mark. I'm Justin Nares. I'm a recovering healthcare trial lawyer. Lawyers can recover. And a serial entrepreneur turned health tech entrepreneur. I'm also a 2020 Rock Health Innovation Fellow and the founder and CEO of Equality MD. Equality MD is an LGBTQ inclusive SaaS telehealth company for employers. My team and I created Equality MD to solve two problems. One, healthcare inequities, and two, data gaps. The pandemic exposed glaring healthcare inequities, particularly for the 30 million LGBTQ Americans, a community that NIH has labeled a health disparity population. 56 experienced discrimination in seeking care, causing 28% to avoid care altogether. Data gaps about this community prevent companies from instituting effective DEI initiatives, recruiting and retaining diverse talent, and authentically engaging the $1.4 trillion LGBTQ consumer market. Our machine learning matching algorithm connects LGBTQ patients and their allies with culturally competent primary and mental health providers nationwide 24/7. Our telehealth partner gives us access to 25,000 providers across the country. We provide employers with comprehensive data-driven DEI, HR, and marketing solution that can be integrated into existing employee benefit packages or offered as optional fringe benefits. PitchBook says the $216 billion LGBT telehealth market is significant, vital, and growing, and called us out as only one of 5 companies delivering care in this space. Our competitors serve the important but statistically small transgender community, about 0.4% of the population. The $15 billion corporate DEI market is rapidly growing. Our secret weapon is our team. Our connections have created a network of partners worth over $25 billion. The National LGBT Chamber of Commerce alone gives us access to a serviceable, obtainable market of over $8 billion. Leaning into our partners makes Equality MD more investable because we've reduced our DevOps and admin expenses, limited our legal liabilities, and drastically reduced our CAC. Our partners enable us to create rapid organic growth. This flywheel effect compounds in each new market we enter as we scale. We're already in talks with CVS Ventures to create inclusive telehealth pilot within Aetna as a fringe benefit. Of course, CVS is also a potential exit strategy. We've raised $665,000 to date, built an MVP. We're now raising $775,000 bridge round via SafeNote to fully take our product to market and begin pilot programs with enterprise clients. If you'd like to learn more or see our deck, please message me in the chat or drop me an email in the address next to my name. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Justin. Any quick questions? Meet Justin. Oh, go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, do you want me to perhaps talk with you afterwards about ways that you can get in on some of the more interesting corners of the LGBTQ community?
I would be more than willing to talk to you about that, sure.
Sure, thanks.
Anybody else? We're going to move on. Thank you, Justin. Please come back and make yourself known to the community.
Happy to do
All
so.
right.
Thanks.
Next up is Sumanth. I hope I pronounced your name correctly or close.
Thanks, Mark. Good afternoon, everyone. Pleasure to be here. Honor to be here. Co-founder and CEO of Veronix Health. Most people call me Swami. We're a remote patient care technology company focused on lung and heart conditions, COPD, asthma, congestive heart failure. We build cloud APIs that interpret patient health data in real time, comprehensive disease-specific data, and help caregivers and patients to intervene early on decompensation, exacerbations, all kinds of things. We go to market primarily in two ways. One, we approach physicians on a risk basis, and we sell essentially remote patient care software, hardware, and services to them. And we collect reimbursement after they've been reimbursed by health insurers. It's completely paid for through established health insurance codes. So they don't have to invest any capital, any time, and it's just a win for them. The other way we go to the market is to put our cloud APIs underneath existing wearables and insurance company consumer-facing technologies on a B2B to C subscription basis to add value to their customers. We have clinical validation, lots of peer-reviewed studies. We have a formal partnership with Oxford University. We've raised $1.3 million to date, $450K in our pre-seed round, about $870K in our current seed round that has a $2.5 million ceiling. We've got paid betas completed. We've got MOUs signed with provider partners representing 300,000 patient opportunity and 150 million in annual revenue, recurrent revenue. And we've got service revenue in as well. And to speak with no humility at all, we have the smartest people in the world working on us in the clinical and AI space. Thanks so much, guys. I'd love to talk to you more. I hope you're enjoying your Saturday afternoon.
Great. That was impressive. Anybody have a question? Meet our community in the chat. We're going to move on. And we still have 26 people to pitch. So let's try and keep to the 2 minutes. Announcement to everybody. Thank you. Up next is Parush.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Mark. My company is K Medical. I'm the founder and CEO of K Medical. My name is Piyush Sheth, and my company is focused on the very unique, very different, and very important mattress technology for pressure injury prevention. So 60,000 patients in the US die just as a direct result of bed sores, or also known as pressure injuries. And there are 2.5 million patients that experience bed sores every year in the United States. And it's a $11 billion healthcare cost just to treat these patients who develop these sores. We have developed a compliant mechanism-based technology that will eliminate the pressure on the back of these individuals by alternating the pressure with no power. And this is a highly compliant bed with a 300-pound patient laying on it. All you need is a pound of force to switch the pressure points on the back of the patient. So we have patented this unique technology in the US and EU, and we are working on building the MVP. And we hope to have the MVP sometime in Q2 of next year. And we are working aggressively on developing the technology, and we are currently desiring partnerships on taking this to commercialization. And there is a couple of things involved, including contract manufacturing of the product and getting to the customers, which is the GPOs, to get this to the nursing homes and the hospitals. And we are currently seeking $3 million in for 30% equity post money, and we hope to expedite this process. We have achieved significant milestones of proof of concept and soon getting to MVP through NIH grants. And we have already been successfully completed the phase 1, and we are now awarded the phase 2. That's so for anyone wanting to connect, please email me, or I'll be putting my information in the chat box, and feel free to reach out.
I've taken a look at this one. It's really fascinating. I hope any investors in our room will take a deeper dive. Does anybody have any quick questions? You'll meet people in the chat as usual. Thank you. We're going to move on. Up next is Tom.
Thank you, Mark. Hello, everyone. My name is Tom Dennison, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Smart Health Catalyzer. So we have a very, very big problem. The reality is this: we know that there are brilliant scientists at universities coming up with what could be life-saving, life-changing biomedical innovations. But the reality is, unfortunately, the vast majority of them are simply not equipped to even start down the path towards commercialization. And piled on top of that problem, here in the Midwest, we generally have a lack of venture capital. So a not so fun fact for everyone here today, the Midwest represents about 20% of all NIH grant funding. Last year, by the way, that was $8.2 billion. But unfortunately, the Midwest gets less than 5% of venture capital going to biomedical spinouts. So how do we solve for that? Two big accomplishments thus far. Today, we built up a team of 200 plus people, each with decades of experience and expertise across all things biomedical, whether it's IP, regulatory, preclinical, commercial, manufacturing, whether it's therapeutic, diagnostic, med device, you name it. We have that expertise. We've also partnered with 50 Midwest universities. That's 50 Midwest universities and research hospitals. You will know all of them. They are mostly universities, but we do partner with Mayo, Cleveland Clinic, Cincinnati Children's, and nationwide. So what do? Well, each and every day, we look for what we believe to be the most promising innovations coming out of any one of those institutions. And when we discover something promising, we build, keyword, build a new venture around that innovation. We put in the team that we believe is best suited to move that newly created startup from inception to Series A. Today, we are launching our 6th portfolio company, a diagnostic developed out of the University of Illinois in Champaign. We are currently seeking $10 million for our Smart Health Catalyzer platform. That will give us a 4-year runway to fund operations and create 20 new venture creations. Again, my name is Tom Dennison, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Smart Health Catalyzer. Would love to chat with anyone. Thank you.
That's great, Tom. I'd actually like to talk to you. I'm rooting for you in this project based on your pitch. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, Mark, I do. This is Jason. Real quick, Tom, do you work with companies if, let's say, you've had a innovation and partnership out of some of those that are a little later stage as potentially a syndicate, or are you only looking for that ground up look?
Only the ground up look.
Okay.
So again, we are all about venture creation. We are venture builders.
Gotcha.
So we are not looking for startups.
Great model.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Neat. And thank you, Jason, for asking. Anybody else have a quick question? Tom, you'll meet people in the chat. That's how it works here. Thank you so much for coming to pitch. Up next is John.
Yeah, my name is, can you hear me okay? My name is John
Yes.
Quitrian, president and founder of imedar.com. We create advanced imaging technologies and data collection for any kind of examination from a mouth to an ear and all the way through. Our basic focus right now is women's health, where we have a small optical device the size of an electric toothbrush, where we can do gynecological examinations without stirrups, without speculum. It's a device that a woman could actually insert it herself, and doctors all over the world will be able to see it and make decisions on what has to be done. We've avoided or eliminated an FDA approval of a device that we can do the Pap sample without, or Pap test without taking the sample and sending it off to the lab. So instead of a woman waiting 3-4 weeks waiting for results, we can get a result within 15 minutes. The technology is so advanced that we have had them in the Middle East due to the fact that we don't have to use stirrups or anything. Women in the Middle East who are held back by culture or religious reasons that can't have examinations, they can have them with our device now. We have the prototypes built. We're in the process of doing more advanced prototypes. We have a lot of medical device companies. Cooper Surgical is one of them. Stryker is another that's looking at acquiring us. So we're not looking for any money. The valuation of our device as it is right now is $40 million. I personally invested $5 million in it, and I'm hoping to have this acquired by the end of the year.
Thank you, John. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a question. What are you looking for? Like, how can we support you?
I will know more in about a week and a half. We have one of the major medical device companies that we severely damaged their products. Our device only costs $2,800, and for each examination is only $5, where a colposcope itself is $20,000, and then with all the examinations and tools, an examination would be about $20. So management is probably one. I don't want to manage a company. I don't want to manage the venture. So I guess if you're looking for somebody to do it, I'd like a woman, of course, because we're into women's health, that know how to run a company, and I will stay more on the advisory technical side.
Nice. Anybody else real quick? We're going to move on. John, thank you so much for presenting. Up next is Parnian. I apologize if I didn't get it right.
No, that was right. Hi, Mark. Hi, everyone. I'm Parnian, the founder and CEO of Olfera. Did you know that Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease start with the inability to smell? It is well established that neurodegenerative diseases damage the olfactory system years before they damage the rest of the brain. Olfactory system is a fascinating target for the treatment of neurodegenerative diseases, not only because it can be targeted to stop the disease early on, but also because it has a rich druggable target repertoire, and its neurons are the only neurons that are exposed to the external world, making it the gateway to the brain. And that makes us excited to use it for drug development. We're an early stage company, a team of scientists and doctors. We're building Olfera, a data-driven, AI-empowered, and technology-enabled platform for the discovery of olfactory biomarkers and first-in-class drugs to cure neurological diseases. We have achieved the design of our technology and are looking for $1.5 million to help us build our technology and collect the biological data from animal models. Feel free to email me at parnian@olferatherapeutics.com or reach out to me in LinkedIn. I would love to speak with you. Thank you.
That's interesting. I personally like to see your deck. Does anybody have any questions? Meet everybody in the chat then. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
coming. Nice to meet you. Up next is Todor.
Hello, I'm Todor Karalanov, founder and CEO of Predigma. We are an ultra deep tech startup for functional heart and brain diagnostics and treatment. We are on a mission to save and improve the lives of millions through the development of a revolutionary platform consisting of a hardware based on the latest development in quantum technology and a software solution. Currently, state-of-the-art heart and brain diagnostics provide phenomenal anatomical and morphological details that you have probably seen in MRI and CT images, but are blind to the real-time functioning of these organs. So how really the organs work, how the heart and brain work, what are their signals look like. The existing functional diagnostic solutions that were supposed to do that are in their rudimentary state. For example, let's take electroencephalography, that's the electrical currents in the brain, measuring those, and the electrocardiography that most of you are very familiar with. They do not point directly in a spatially precise way where the problem is. Hence, the origin of a disease or even a mental state is often masked. Well, we are aiming to change all that by pinpointing the problem directly in a very spatially precise way, and then even addressing it. A parallel venue that we want to pursue passionately is brain-computer interfacing in a non-invasive way, in a stark contrast with the majority of invasive approaches trying to address the problem, for example, implantable electrodes from companies like Elon Musk, Neuralink, and Synchron. We are raising $2 million seed round. We're currently a 3-person team, 2 founders and a VP of engineering. We have 2 advisors on different parts of the platform technology. And not the last on the list is the market. What the market is, well, you can name any number above $10 billion since we're talking about heart and brain. Most of the diseases of the heart that are based on the electrical activity can be detected, and we hope that we can even address them by treating them with our, again, platform. So thank you.
Nice. Does anybody have any questions? Meet people in the chat. We're going to move on. Frederick, you're up next.
Hello, I'm Frederick Abramson, the founder of Golden Thread Technology. A few years ago, my Johns Hopkins Biotechnology master students showed me a paper out of Stanford where they gave 14 triathletes genetic data about their bodies, and their injury rate went down 44%. With that clue, we decided to take genetics into a whole new direction to help make life better for everyone. Instead of focusing on diseases and how you may die, we designed a totally digital business model to reduce athletic injury risks as our starting point. The model combines DNA analysis with ongoing big data, AI, and machine learning analytics to deliver real-time, personalized guidance to athletes and parents of athletes. This is the same analytic model Google Maps uses. Your DNA map is fixed. What varies is what you do every day and what happens. This is a totally new approach to injury prevention, and it bypasses over 40 years of conventional thinking about how to avoid injuries. In the past 18 months, we've interviewed over 1,000 athletes and athletes' parents around the world. They overwhelmingly endorse our approach and will be early adopters. How many moms do you think would want to know if their daughter or son has the gene that increases concussion risk by 300%? A lot. Adult athletes tell us, I wish I knew this when I started playing. We seek investment to build the MVP and analytic engine. Our forecast negative cash flow over 2 years is 12 million. It's 2 million, sorry. We expect to have 1 million users by mid-2025. We have a patent and a patent pending. The bottom line is that we're addressing a massive unmet need that impacts 60 million American athletes and over 400 million worldwide. We have the know-how and expertise with a 12-person senior team to build a successful company that starts B2C and moves to B2B in international markets. This includes self-insured companies who pay the treatment costs for injuries. I'm Dr. Frederick Abramson. I'm a Michigan Human Genetics PhD and an MIT Sloan Fellow with over 30 years experience in business, software, and technology. The company is Golden Thread Technology. My contact information is in the chat. If you want to talk, happy to do that. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Frederick. Anybody have a quick question?
Yeah, I do again, Mark.
Go for it.
Real quick, is it like do you get your sample from like a PGX swab? Is that how you're taking your DNA sample? Roger that.
Yeah, cheek swab, easy to do.
Okay, and then the
By the
second
way,
thing.
we picked this swab because kids think it's okay because it's like a lollipop and they stick it in their mouth.
And have you approached any professional sports organizations? Some of my investors are with the Padres, and injuries are near and dear. It might be interesting.
Jason, we could talk about that. One thing we did find out early on is we're too early to have the professional teams use the technology because they want instant results. But certainly there are basis for collaboration. Let's talk offline, Jason.
Sounds great.
Okay, we're going to move on. Thank you, Frederick.
I have a question.
Go ahead. Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, Frederick. Hello, Frederick. I work with UFC fighters, a lot of UFC fighters. Would you like to be connected with them?
Yes, yes, thank you. That would be terrific, Alan. Thank you.
Yeah, cool. I'll send you an email.
Okay, yeah, my information is in the chat and I'm on LinkedIn as well, like almost everybody else.
Okay, we're going to have to move on. Thank you, Frederick. Up next is Nicholas.
Hi, everyone. I am the co-founder of a gut microbiome health and longevity focused company, Propion. My co-founder is Dr. Daniel Weiner, who's a principal investigator at the Buck Institute. He is mentioned as one of the top 10 breakthroughs of the decade, listed by Cell Metabolism in 2015. He won the Endocrine Society Amgen Early Investigator Award, the 2011 Hubert Wolf Award for Young Investigator Worldwide Top 10 Publications. He's a grant reviewer for Diabetes UK, Nature Metabolism, Science Immunology, all of that jazz. Basically, this is the guy that you need to listen to when he says that this is the next venture in the gut microbiome health space. Now we're looking for $100,000 to $250,000 pre-seed. And the reason I'm here today is because all of you guys, it seems like, are looking for tons of money that would come from institutional capital. I am looking for money from you guys. We're looking for investments of $5,000 to $20,000 to raise all of the money we need to bring intellectual property from a third party into the company that Dr. Daniel Weiner has vetted and believes has enormous value as first-in-class supplements targeting a novel metabolite of tryptophan that has not yet made it onto the market. One of those products has clinical data already in elderly individuals over 65, showing it reduces levels of circulating peroxynitrite, improves cognition, and improves quality of sleep. And so we are in the beginnings of putting together that round, which he will lead with an investment of $5,000, as well as his brother, who's a gastroenterologist, with an investment of $5,000 to get that intellectual property from third party, which we will then be able to launch into a massive gut microbiome health supplement company. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have a question? Come back again and meet people in the chat. That was quite interesting. Up next is Vitaly.
Hello, good evening, everybody. My name is Vitaly. I'm the CEO of Sipple Care, Sipple double P, and we develop solutions for infants that have feeding difficulties. So there are more than 27% of infants that experience feeding difficulties. Enormous amount of infants who are preemies. Our first device, we call it Sipple Neo, is an accessory that goes on top of a baby bottle It measures how the baby is feeding. It measures the actual physical parameters of how the baby is feeding, how the baby is sucking, how he swallows, how he's breathing. Our proprietary AI algorithm analyzes this data and provides parents with real-time guidance, how to improve the feeding. Also, we provide the clinicians, like pediatricians, nurses, feeding therapists, with raw data that they would be able to make their assumptions better. It is very relevant for telehealth, because these days, the only mean by which the feeding therapist can understand what is going on with the baby is the camera on an iPhone, and whatever the parents tell them. So this is our product, and we are currently bootstrapping. About half a year ago, we won a prestigious competition at NYU Business School. We won $75K investment. And we're just about to hit our angels round, and we seek for angel investors. Thank you.
Very nice. I'm on the board of a telehealth company, and I'd be very interested in finding out information, see if it might be a marriage with them. Does anybody else have any questions? I guess my quick question is, have you already built it, or are you still going to build it?
Yes, we have a functional prototype, actually 5 prototypes, and we tested with babies of friends. Next stage will be the official clinical study. We're making arrangement to find an IRB. If anyone can recommend an IRB, external IRB, I'll be happy. And next step will be the clinical study, and then we will finalize the design and start marketing it in about a year.
Okay, so my assistant will reach out to you so I can talk to you, and others can meet you in the chat. Up next is Terrence. Terrence, you got to come off mute and.
Sorry about that. Hi, how are you?
Do you have a video? There we go.
Yes, hi. Terrence Lynch here. Sorry about that. It's been a rough week. Founder and CEO of Oath Health. Oath Health is on a mission to make healthcare more accessible and affordable for everybody, starting with the 40 million uninsured in America, which creates about 40 billion in uninsured costs and expenses for the healthcare industry, governments, taxpayers, etc. What we've created is MVP 1 has been created. It ties into Google Fit to reward you for setting health goals with your doctor, etc. Use those blockchain credits, as discounts for your healthcare visits, etc. MVP 2 will tie us into over 160 products by teaming up with Dakadu, which is a health score team-based, non-clinical based team-based out of Canada. And on top of that, they bring in their social network, which allows people to share their healthcare credits to let people who can't afford healthcare or need a major operation suddenly be able to grant them their just walking steps from that day. At this point, we're raising $2 million to get us into MVP 2 and past that for 18 to 24 month leg room. And obviously, a lot of people have covered many things that I'm also talking about here: tracking, fitness, getting better in health. But what we do is we put that in Web3, put it on the blockchain, give you healthcare credits that your doctor gets in exchange, et cetera, et cetera. We could talk more about how that works and the white paper behind it, if anybody likes. My information will be in the chat, ter@oathhealth.io. And thanks everybody for taking the time today. Mark, November, great job.
Thanks, Terrence. And I'm going to put you on mute because there's some background noise. If anybody wants to meet up with Terrence, you can meet him in the chat as is usual. Up next is David.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Great, thanks again for this opportunity, Mark, really.
Oh, my pleasure.
So imagine saving drug companies $1 billion in production costs and years in drug discovery efforts for $100 million in yearly royalties. Hello, I'm David Mead, the CEO of Terra Bioworks. I sold my previous company, Lucigen, for 70 million 4 years ago. And at the dawn of my career, I developed this molecular biology reagent called TA cloning that sold for nearly $1 billion over the last 25 years. Obviously let that one go through my fingertips. Terra Bioworks has pioneered a synthetic biology platform that is 100 times faster and more precise than pharma methods to discover and manufacture bioactive natural products that are beneficial to humans, plants, and animals. We can dramatically reduce manufacturing costs of existing natural product drugs and discover new ones faster. We have strong IP revenues and are looking to raise $3 million in a Series A round. We are only one of 2 companies worldwide with this type of synthetic biology, and we're the only ones addressing near-term drug production problems. And that's a big deal because it's a much faster and more affordable timeline to revenue. The go-to-market strategy is to reduce the cost of goods for very expensive drugs such as cyclosporin and others, saving $1 billion in manufacturing costs a year. One licensing deal could be worth $100 million or more in revenues per year. The exit strategy is to develop these overproducing drug strains, patent protect them, obviously, and then license or sell the asset for 9 figures. And we can do this for more than one compound. Terra Bioworks is a scalable business that has a mini unicorn potential, and I'm happy to meet and discuss details further.
Very nice. Does anybody have any quick questions?
Hi, I do.
Please, go ahead, Lynn.
Hi, David. So how do you get around I mean, it's a great idea, but how do you get around the testing? Because the best model for man is man. How do you get around that?
So when we make a new compound with a different biological host, you don't have to get the drug reapproved, but you do have to have it proven out manufacturing, have to have the same molecular weight, chiral centers, atoms and so forth. So it's a 1 year, $1 million risk for that manufacturing certification. Small price to pay for $1 billion gain in profits.
Thank you.
Anybody else real quick? Okay, we'll move on. David, you'll meet people in the chat as is usual. Thank you. Up next is Kyle.
Hi, guys. I'm Kyle Brewer, a Stanford scientist and founder of Edda Biotechnology. Our AI and machine learning platform creates novel molecules to target aging and treat serious diseases. As you age, cells are damaged and become senescent, and that means they can no longer divide. They secrete inflammatory factors throughout the body. Clearing senescent cells extends lifespan of normal mice the most out of any therapeutic intervention. And if the results apply to humans, we may be able to allow everyone here to live an extra 10 to 30 years. The main problem is that people have found ways to clear senescent cells, but normal cells get targeted too. So these interventions are quite toxic. In 2018, our advisor, Matt Yusefzadeh from the University of Minnesota, discovered the natural molecule fisetin can clear senescent cells and extend mouse lifespan, and fisetin has an excellent safety profile. The problem is fisetin and related natural compounds, they have poor solubility, low bioavailability, and short half-life, so they definitely needed improvement. As a proof of concept, we improved fisetin by creating fisetin nanoparticles, and we tested them in humans in case studies for safety. Not only did we find the approach was safe, we were also found we were likely treating many diseases and conditions in these individuals, including osteoarthritis, psoriasis, pre-diabetes, headaches, scarring, and acne. Unexpectedly, the approach seemed like it not only addressed issues with aging, but almost any condition where damage was occurring. We recently created an AI machine learning platform to generate novel molecules for clinical development that are predicted to have improved efficacy, safety, bioavailability, and metabolism. We're now synthesizing our top hits to test them in preclinical models and to get them ready for clinical disease trials. I've raised $100,000 for Edda so far and have soft commitments from other investors who have domain expertise in aging, so they have vetted us. Now I'm looking for angel investors and pharma veterans to join our team, so feel free to reach out to me via my email or LinkedIn for more information. I'll also paste the information in the chat now.
Excellent. Does anybody have any questions? I don't hear any, but I actually would like to see your deck. So maybe you can send information to Kyle. And Kyle, you can meet people in the chat, maybe come back a few times to get known better by the community. It'll help improve the number of people who reach back to you. By the way, I just found out through one of my assistants that all the times that were on my calendar have been taken. So many of you apparently wanted to get a meeting with me. I will add more times available right after this event. And for those of you that do want to take a Zoom meeting with me, just check back to the website, venturestarters.com. My calendar is at the very bottom of that landing page. So apologies for running out of slots. I should have prepared for this meeting better. Up next is Troy.
Thanks, Mark. I'm Troy Ziegler. I'm a medtech entrepreneur and former entrepreneur in residence at the Mayo Clinic. I'm working with a management team on a medical device focused on treating dysphagia. The device has already seen about $2 million in revenue, and I'll talk more about that later. Dysphagia is difficult, impaired, or problematic swallowing. It affects over 9 million people in the US alone. It's a very serious condition. It's associated with malnutrition, aspiration of food and liquid into the lungs, which can cause pneumonia and other serious problems, including mortality in older adults. It's often caused simply by age-related weakening of muscles. Other causes include stroke and atrophy from intubation. For many patients, exercises led by a therapist can actually strengthen the weakened tongue and throat muscles. The challenge is that short-term feedback that the exercises are being performed properly and long-term feedback of how well the therapy is working are very difficult to measure. A peer-reviewed clinical research study was published in 2016 that used a prototype device designed to assist the therapist by providing that type of feedback. The results on multiple endpoints were extremely positive. The results included improved swallowing effectiveness, increased tongue and throat muscle strength, reduced hospitalizations, and very importantly, 67% fewer cases of pneumonia. The investigators who participated in the study and several others familiar with the study started asking for this prototype to be commercially available to use with their patients. And given the interest and demand, a company was established to begin selling those devices. That's where the $2 million was sold. However, the increased volume put some highlight on the problems of the design. It was difficult to manufacture, and that design had very low product reliability. The company eventually ceased operations, but the requests for the device have continued to this day. So we're picking up where that commercialization effort led off with an experienced management team, and we are acquiring the core technology. We have a redesigned device that resolves the manufacturing and reliability problems. Our new team is raising $750,000 to begin testing the new redesign, start manufacturing, and then restart sales, first to the therapists who've been asking for the device, and then later on to the larger medical community. Thank you. I'm Troy Ziegler, and my email is on the bottom of my name, and I'll also put my information in the chat box. Thank you.
Great. Any quick questions? Meet our community in the chat then. Thank you, Troy. Oh, wait, is there a question that I'm hearing coming in?
Hey, Mark, this is Costa. Finally, I figured out how to unmute myself. I would like to know more. Yes, I would like to know more about what you're doing, Troy. And you mentioned you already had 2 million sales?
Not myself personally. I'm just getting
that?
involved now. The previous company that was commercializing device sold about $2 million worth of product,
Got it.
but they ran into some problems.
Yeah, I don't want to take too much time. I'd like to talk, and there are a few other companies I'll be reaching out to. Apologies, I couldn't talk earlier, Mark.
Yeah, and you're a great connection for many of you. So please try and hook up. Thank you so much. Let's move on. And thank you, Troy, for coming. Up next is Jason.
Hey, Mark. So first of all, I thought I had an appointment with you next Wednesday, so apologies. And then I owe you
Next
an
Wednesday will be fine. I look forward to our next conversation. By the way, to those of you in the audience, this is a great company. Please take a close look. Go ahead, Jason.
Thanks, Mark. So I'm Jason Howe. I'm a founder and CEO of Magvation. And literally what Magvation is all about is making surgery safer. Everybody on this phone, statistically speaking, will be in a surgery more than once in their lifetime. And certainly some of those are problematic. So statistically speaking, based on the 69 people left, 4 of you will have a surgical complication that could have been avoided that Magvation hopes to take care of. Our first product to market will be Haystack, and that is a needle counting system for surgeries. It's a known problem of leaving needles inside the human body after surgery. If you can picture a cardiac surgery has 240 needles that are all smaller or a third of your eyelash that have also sutures connected, and they have to count for every one of these. as well as the sharps. And so we've come up with a patented way now, a lot harder than we originally anticipated, that uses computer vision, AI, and to basically automate the counting of needles. And to do that, we also had to reinvent the Mayo stand and some carts and a way to address the system. And so literally kind of an overhaul of the OR. We have 51 hospitals that have try and buy. They will sign up or they'll do one OR, 3 months, 50 surgeries each. Right now, we are in our formative testing with the FDA. We'll move into summative testing in Q1 of next year. We have raised about 5.5 million to date, 1 million from me, 1 million from another founder, and the rest from 124 different investors, over 53 of which are surgeons. What we're looking for now, 2 opportunities for investment, is one, a very strategic round at a discount for 4 people that can add value to Magvation at 250 each. And then we'll be starting in Q1 of next year on a Series A at 5 million. And we are also looking for a chief investment and chief financial officer, and Mark is helping us with that. That said, I'll tell you, I started this whole thing because my dad had 2 needles left in him that created some problems that ended up in his demise. And the previous to that, he had 2 sponges left in him, started something called RF Surgical. We sold that to Medtronic for 235 million. Just happens to be needles are a lot harder to track than sponges because they don't have enough real estate. You're talking tiny little things that are sharp, and you have to count a lot of them real time in the OR. So a lot of other issues around that count itself. So with that, I'll leave my stuff in the thing, but would love to talk to you.
Anybody have any questions of Jason?
Mark, this is Kaustubh again. I'll reach out. First of all, extremely sorry to hear about your father. And I'd love to understand a little more about any pilots that you're thinking about in addition to signing up a new hospital or the first hospital, and a few others related to how it can impact insurance as well. So,
yeah, absolutely. We've talked to several of the insurance, and some of our partner hospitals are Cleveland Clinic, UHS, Mayo, and we've looked at the insurance premiums. And so, yeah, it's actually a pretty novel idea. So I'd love to talk to you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay, we're going to have to move on just because of timing. And Jason, I will definitely talk to you next week and help however I can. Up next is Atha, who is still on mute. There.
You would
there you go.
say that right when I'm making tea. No worries. All right. So, hi everyone. I'm Atom Atha from Vulpine Labs. We are rebuilding healthcare from first principles, and especially for chronic and genetic disorders and autoimmune disorders, and many other things to go with that eventually, to start an evolution revolution. You all know or knew someone who had genetic disorders. Wouldn't it make a massive difference, trillions of dollars worth, if they, you, and everyone could access the means to not just diagnose the exact cause, but to fix it at its root in the very code your body runs? Wouldn't it be awesome if we could use software coding to rewrite our wetware to adapt ourselves to extreme environments, or to enable free expression of oneself in the form of one's body, like an avatar editor for real life? That vision is what drives us at Vulpine Labs. Our systems are aimed at adult in vivo, as in the body, not a test tube, editing with a personal digital twin model that's as simple as any other graphical software on a PC to use, and as easy as a 3D printer to produce the final gene editing vector, which is like a tiny container or vehicle for the changes for your transformation to your healthy future. Now, every treatment created by users is personalized to the individual, yet every treatment can anonymously inform the next treatment's development through our Laboration network, which incentivizes high-quality gene edit creation and collaboration, and it verifies the integrity of shared code, gamifies the whole process. We have a small software demo ready on our YouTube channel. I can point you to the link that I'll be posting again shortly in the text chat. And we have an investor already lined up for an undisclosed sum to contribute to our early seed round. We have interest from famous potential clients as well. And we need $1 million to get things moving now. We have a team ready to go and near turnkey designs and services waiting to be activated and funded. If you would like to know more about how we're making this work, get in touch and I can discuss it with you. I can show you our pitch and business plan, and you can contribute to our amazing future together. And my email address is atta@fullpinedesigns.com. I will post that in the text chat too. Any questions, anyone?
Perfect. Any questions?
Yes, I have a quick question. What kind of delivery mechanism do you use for your gene editing?
We are actually developing our system to be agnostic to different delivery mechanisms, but it is intended that it will enable people to develop those delivery mechanisms as part of the process.
I see. And just a quick follow-up. I mean, so is it using CRISPR to do the edit? Like, is it actually inserting a gene into the DNA, or?
CRISPR would be something that you could incorporate into the types of edits that you would develop with this platform. But I mean, CRISPR isn't the only way to do things, of course. So we would be enabling different options in the system.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Sean, did you have a question real quick? I thought you did. Okay. Anybody else real quick? We're going to move on. Oh, go ahead. There you go. Please go.
Sorry, this is Costa again. Did I hear that you're already at a point where you could launch a platform, if you may, or prototype? I don't know what term to use here, but similar to the gentleman who asked the question, where are you in the stage of development of the technique?
We are at the point where we have about 1% of the actual total of the software system developed, and we're using that to provide a demo, which, as I say, is on our YouTube channel. And we can demonstrate through that the potential of one of our 25 modules for the system. And each of the modules can be run individually as well as a standalone sort of thing, so that we can offer to laboratory clients and institutions who want to really sort of streamline their procedures as they're doing their research. So we already have potential to be very valuable even before we actually complete developing the full platform.
No, that's helpful. And you're US based or non-US?
Yeah, I'm actually in New Brunswick, New Jersey.
All right, we should talk.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Yep, we're going to have to move on though. So meet in the chat. Up next is Alex.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alex Matirukin, the CEO and co-founder of Dream to Catcher project. Our project deals with the correction of sleeping problems for people suffering from the consequences of post-traumatic stress disorders, as well as solving the problems with insomnia. We use the numerous sleep studies conducted by the Stanford and Harvard institutes, and our AI software takes as a source a data sets of several thousand people, forms, and offer the most suitable audio files for sleep correction. And our team consists of PhDs in this subject and artificial intelligence engineers. Also, we were joined by several entrepreneurs and marketers as advisors who help us in the project development. At this particular moment, we have attracted more than 1,000 followers, which we are gradually attract to the paying users on subscription model. We expect that by the end of this year, the number of paying users will be at least 3,000 or 4,000 people. In addition, our software that we developed allows us not only to solve the sleeping problems for every human, but also to offer our software for research projects and institutes who use the data sets of sleeping with our AI monitoring, which allows us to enter the B2B market. Now we plan to enter the pre-seed round of investments in order to increase our marketing policy and form the go-to-the-market strategy. And we are currently raising investments in an amount of 500,000 euros. Thank you very much. Feel free to connect with us with all contacts in the chat.
Thank you, Alex. Where are you located?
Currently, we are located in Brno, Czech Republic, in Europe.
Great. Does anybody have any questions? And by the way, your background looks really cool. Go ahead. Any questions, anybody? I guess not. Meet people in the chat and come on back, Alex. I have a feeling you'll find an audience here if you make yourself known more often. We're going to move on because of timing. Up next is Matthew.
Hi guys, thanks for the opportunity. My name is Matthew. I'm the Director of Sales and Commercialization at Acarai. Acarai is developing a hardware-software combination product to tackle heart failure. Heart failure affects more than 64 million people worldwide, and 6 million people in the United States alone have heart failure, and 1 million of those are hospitalized. The issue is that physicians, healthcare systems, patients do not know what to do. And the only thing that's been developed to help combat and treat heart failure is the use of intracardiac pressure. This is not achieved today readily by any other technique. And what we have developed is the first ever non-invasive way to monitor pressure. We have patented our product and we call it the Sage Sensor Technology System. We have 200 patients already performed in a clinical trial in Sweden. And we've shown that we are able to perform like the gold standard, and we are expanding our studies in the US to up to 1,500 patients, which have already had funding from Arkansas State for up to 300 patients. And we are kicking off our funding round in January to fund an additional 700 patients in 3 clinical sites in the US, where we're aiming for FDA approval by the end of the year. If you want to connect with me, please shoot me an email. We'll also be at Health Conference in Las Vegas at the middle of this month. And great, I'll take any questions.
I'd like to see your deck. Does anybody else have any questions? It sounds
no questions. I'd like to ask.
Go ahead, please go ahead.
No questions, Mark. I'm interested as well, but I'd like to know about the dates about FDA approval that are in more detail, but we can do that offline.
Yeah, I'll add all my information in the chat, and please reach out to me on email. And then if anyone is at Health, our booth is 557 kiosk 1. Come stop by.
Great, thank you, Matthew. Up next is Neil.
There I am. I'm Dr. Neil Buddy. I'm the CEO of Paradigm Immunotherapeutics, and this is my second presentation. I presented, if you remember, last month, Mark.
Yes.
I'm not going to get too much into the technical details. We have a chimeric antibody for the prophylaxis and therapeutics of SARS-CoV-2. We're using the receptor at the top half of the antibody, and then we've optimized the bottom half of the antibody. In the chat room, I left a link to the preprint. We will have a peer-reviewed article in several weeks. What I wanted to talk about is the evolution of what's happening with the virus. And SARS-CoV-2, 1 month is like a lifetime. So they call it Scrabble variants because you get all these different initials, but there's 2 that you really have to watch out for. So one of them is called BQ 1.1, the other one is XSB.1. The BQ is now becoming dominant in the United States. The XBB is becoming dominant in Singapore. It's in Bangladesh and now spreading to India. So there's going to be 2 of these new subvariants. They are resistant. There's, you can see my post on LinkedIn. I post every day about which amino acids, but basically they're going to escape Evishield, which is the only prophylactic. It's a proven $2.5 billion market. By the end of the year, it will lose its emergency use authorization. So our major competitor, I don't compare anymore because they're gone. The other one is Lilly's bativolumab. That's for treatment. That's also going to be gone at the end of the year. So there will be no monoclonal antibody treatments for SARS-CoV-2 by the end of this year. I've made some presentations on Monday. I flew up to San Francisco, can't say who it is because of mutual NDAs, extremely large big pharma company. They and several other big pharma companies have made corporate-wide decisions not to produce any more monoclonal antibodies against this virus because the virus just chews it up. Okay, there's an article recently in Science from some leading researchers, and even by the time it got published, it's dead in the water because the escape mutations are already incorporated in these new subvariants. So we actually, we're not looking for investors because I'm very pleased to say that we're being acquired. So it's in the hands of the M&A people, but I'm still here because I think that having elevator pitches, I don't think you can ever have too many elevator pitches. And also every time that I'm part of this program, I hear something. So obviously when I hear the olfactory bulb, because that's where the virus starts and that's where it gets into the brain and causes brain fog. So I will be reaching out to that person. I'm, again, Dr. Neil Bodie. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I've got like over 24,000 connections. So, you know, you can find me very easily. I'm not anonymous. And then one last thing is our website's under construction. So please don't send me criticisms. The website doesn't go anywhere. I know that. We'll have that working in a couple of weeks.
Wow, Dr. Neil, thank you for coming again. I hope we'll see you more often. That was very fascinating. I don't know if does anybody have any quick questions? It's a big topic you just sort of broached. So I think anyways, you can meet Dr. Neil in the chat and he's big on LinkedIn. Hopefully you'll connect. We're going to move on because we're running out of time. We have 8 more people who would like to present, but I thank you, Dr. Neil, for being here. Up next is Lima.
All right, sorry, I had to take a sec to unmute myself. Thanks so much for having me. So today, mental health has been an invisible problem, and insurance companies have been reluctant to treat it like physical health due to the lack of insight and the 90% relapse rate for completing alcohol and opioid addiction treatment. Our solution is data-driven healing. My name is Lima Yefremovich. I'm the founder of Aura, a company that does telehealth for mental health. So Aura is a comprehensive system that allows clinicians to see the invisible problem, to see how a patient is feeling, and to track recovery progress. Our proprietary technology uses machine learning to track progress, regression, risk levels of patients, and individualized patient-centered planning. I've led treatment initiatives and recovery planning for addictions, eating disorders, severe mental illness for professional athletes, high-profile celebrities, and public figures, and I've been tremendously successful in doing so. The thing all of these people had in common was that they could afford to cash pay about $45,000 per month when insurance cut them off. Aura is all about setting a uniform standard of care for mental health and scaling accessibility and insurance coverage so that we can treat mental health like physical health using data. Our team has extensive experience within healthcare and insurance industries, as well as government initiatives. We've also had market exposure with our technology in hospitals and clinics. Mental health is a $300 billion industry in the US alone, and the US healthcare industry is $2.5 trillion. So we plan to start in mental health and then scale and expand into healthcare in general to tackle this global epidemic. And as many of you guys have already stated, the healthcare industry in terms of medical records and information about the patients is very, very fragmented, and most clinicians won't be able to access all of that data to actually help the patient. So our technology is ready for market. We're raising $1.5 million to close out our current round of funding and deliver our products to clients. The funds will be used to expand our team and so that we can sell our software to treatment centers and insurance companies. Our mission is to innovate the mental health care industry with data so that treatment centers make more money and insurance companies save billions of dollars on relapses and patients actually get better. So who's ready to join forces in the mental health revolution? Thank you.
Thanks, Lima, for being an active participant the last few events. So appreciate it. Does anybody have any questions of Lima?
Yeah, real quick, Mark. Lima, do you, is your platform portable? One of my investments is My Persona, and it's a telehealth platform that is about emotional wellness, but they are open to plugins, if you will. Is yours a portable application, if you will?
Yeah, so we're definitely open to collaborations where we do have a telehealth component to our application, but we are a data company, and I'm open to collaborating with other opportunities.
Great, we'll sync up. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Anybody else real quick? Okay, Lima, thank you. Meet others in the chat. Up next is John. Welcome back, John.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it, Mark. As Dr. Bodie said, the COVID pandemic is far from over. I can personally attest to it because I just got it after being vigilant for 2.5 years and avoiding it. I finally got it at a funeral along with 20 other people. Anecdotally, my mom then got it a week later at a different funeral in a different state. The bottom line is buildings are not protected from this. And the missing puzzle piece to solve the pandemic, I believe, is stopping the airborne transmission problem. And so vaccines and masks are fine, but also, as Dr. Bodie said, they can't retool these things fast enough to deal with the different variations and mutations that are happening in the virus. So our system, number one, is my company's Energy Cloud. The particular product we're talking about is Hummingbird, and it eradicates and deactivates COVID-19 in the air in the HVAC systems. So one of the things I'm happy, I've been waiting for about 2 months to get this report from USC today, which we just recently got, a very significant report from USC's independent testing of our product in real airflows, which is the key thing. And we've further proven that we deactivate COVID-19 and variants. And so from a competitive perspective, our system immediately deactivates COVID-19 on the first pass. That means it never comes out of our system. It goes into the air conditioning system, never comes out. The competition's typically at 30 to 60 minutes based on their own testing, and that's their own efficacy results, which to me wouldn't really matter because everyone would be infected by the time 30 minutes happens. And so it's important to be able to deactivate it immediately. It's also important, I believe, to prove that we can deactivate any variant that comes along, which is why we went back in. We proved our COVID efficacy last year. We won an Edison Award, but we wanted to go back in and make the business case that it doesn't matter what variant comes along, we can handle it. So we've now proven that we deactivate the Beta variant, the Delta variant, the Omicron variant, the BA2 variant. And we're not going to go back in the lab and bother to test every single one. We have substantial evidence. They moved our efficacy up from 99.5% last year to 99.99%. And I would put our testing against any product and any testing efficacy-wise anywhere in the world. We tested with, we had a group of 10 independent epidemiologists and engineers who are peer reviewing this year's report, but that also participated last year, including the first American scientist to prove that COVID was airborne. And, we've got the substantial proof. We've also proven out different versions of the product. Our main product is aimed at scaling and handling any size building, which the healthy building market alone is 70 billion just in the commercial space. And at the same time, we proved out an aviation and automotive version this year. So we can handle planes, trains, and automobiles, and as well as residences, and we have a portable version as well. We're deploying it in commercial environments. We've just done one of the top basketball players' homes in the world, in the United States. We just are about to start doing a very large stadium. And so, we're revenue generating. We're raising a Series A of $8 million. We have 1.1 million committed, and we're looking for the leader as strategic. Ultimately, we believe it's an acquisition play. We've already had inquiries to acquire us, although we're planning on scaling this up to $1 billion in revenues and a multi-billion-dollar valuation before we sell it. And I posted my comments in the chat and look forward to answering any questions and connecting with you. Thank you.
Great, John. I really like what you're doing. Anybody have a quick question to John? Well,
I'd like to see a deck, John. This is Costa.
Yep.
Okay, please just find my information in the chat, and because I just have your, so thank you.
Anybody else real quick for John? I'd be curious to see that USC report if you have time to send it to me when it's, ready to send via email. Thank you,
We
John.
pretty much have the final, but it's just being peer reviewed, and I'll get it to you hopefully within the next week or so.
Yeah, I want to help you. I love what you're doing. Thanks so much. Up next is Jason.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. My name is Jason. I'm the founder and CEO of Ageless Partners. We are an early stage startup company with one primary mission. Our mission is to reverse the aging process. We're not looking for an incremental gain here. As big as we are on nutrition, exercise, supplements, fasting, and so on, that's not going to get us to where we need to be. We're looking for something very radical. We're looking to take someone in their 80s or 90s and revert them back to their youth, to their 20s. A lot of the time people, they think that this is a very controversial thing, that it can't be done, or that we don't understand aging enough to do it. But I'd point out that we know enough about aging to do something about it already. And there's nothing that says that it cannot be done. There's nothing that says that there's some impossibility to completely reverse the aging process. In fact, I've talked to aging experts all around the globe, including people like George Church, David Sinclair, and other people deep in their field. And we see scientific evidence already hinting at this. You look at the Sinclair lab where they've shown epigenetic aging can be reversed. So we know it's possible. And at that point, we say that there's a moral obligation. We have a moral obligation to pursue these technologies to save lives. And it's not only morality, there's actually an economic imperative here. We're going into a different phase of our civilization where we're going to have a lot of old people, a lot of sick people, in fact, old and sick. And it's going to put a lot of pressure on the young generation from an economic standpoint to support that system, in terms of healthcare, in terms of caregivers, in terms of just pure money. There's just not going to be enough to go around. If we don't do this, we're really going to see a very tough economy, and we're already kind of seeing it. The healthcare system here in the U.S. really has never been great to some degree. I mean, you're seeing widespread obesity, and in fact, life expectancy here has gone down. So the approaches that have been taken, everything within biology and biomedicine, biochemistry, these approaches haven't really panned out. And although there's progress being made and we should continue to do that, we need to consider an alternative approach. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to do something that has never been done. It'll be completely based on physics. And we're going to measure the biomarkers, first of college athletes. We're going to get people in the prime of their lives. We're going to get football players, baseball players. We're going to find that dancer who's very talented and is just so great. We're going to measure everything about them. We're going to know their blood, their stool, their saliva. We're going to have a deep understanding of their biomarkers. Then we're going to bring in older people, 65 and above, and we're going to go ahead and apply this method, and we're going to be able to see how far back can we get them. So that's our main goal. We are now raising capital for this endeavor. This will be our first major portfolio company within the Ageless Partners ecosystem. We are asking for $3.5 million at a $40 million valuation. Feel free to reach out if you have further questions. I will drop all my info in the chat here. We have social media. We have a YouTube channel you can see where I interview aging experts on how we age, why we age, how to stop it, and how to eventually reverse it completely. Thank you.
Okay, Jason, does anybody have any questions for him? Meet Jason in the chat. It sounds fascinating, Jason. At some point, I'd like to see your deck and understand better how you're going to pull that off. I'm looking forward to being 22 again and having hair.
We'll get you to sign up, Mark. Thank you.
Okay, up next is Stephen.
Hello, my name is Stephen Reinhardt, and I am the founder and CEO of BuildingBlocks.health. BuildingBlocks.health is giving moms, new moms and dads, the ability to document, share the events, milestones of their children starting at birth. So we are looking at a longevity solution. There are 75 million children between 0 and 17 in the United States. And we think that's a good market to go after. What we're doing is we're not building another EHR. We are building a PHR in which these millennial moms, Gen Z moms can go in and through social media component, talk to their doctors, talk to their friends, talk to their parents. And we're building two different products. The first one is an application, mobile application, that will collect all of this data. The second product is now that we have a platform, data platform, that we have shown to 3 big pharma companies that want this unique data that no one really gives them. All they're giving is all this EHR data, which they can get from different payers, doctors, hospital systems. There is not another application that we know of that is doing this. It really is changing that communication between a pediatrician and a parent on what else is going on in their lives. So let's just say they live next to a fuel station. They live next to we know what the weather is going to be and all of those things. So think Billy had just fallen down. It's 3 in the afternoon, it's rainy. That information now can go to and put into the application, which can be shot off to the pediatricians. Our application, we are a pre-seed company, and we are looking for $500,000 to do our final MVP work, marketing staff, and that's it. Love to hear more about it. Please give me a ring on the chat.
Thanks, Stephen. Anybody have a quick question?
Yes, this is Jeff Cohen. Stephen, I think what you're doing is great. And I think what you will become is a major contributor to the collection of real world evidence. And I think that you and I need to definitely have a conversation about that, because that's what the pharmaceutical companies are looking at you so eagerly for. And I think that we can help expand your market and vice versa. So I'm looking forward to talking to you afterwards.
Lovely, thank you.
Great. Anybody else real quick? Meet Stephen in the chat. Stephen, come back again. We have an event every Wednesday night, and even though it isn't specific to just life sciences, I would say 1 out of 4 or 1 out of 5 companies that pitch on our Wednesday events are in the life sciences community, and we tend to have a slightly larger crowd and more investors. So
my third competitor just got purchased 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
By a data platform.
Well, we look forward to following your success, and it was great to meet you. Up next is Alex.
Hi, everyone. So 6 in 10 American adults will have at least 1 chronic disease, and 4 in 10 will have at least 2 chronic diseases. Now, we spend around $4.1 trillion a year just treating chronic diseases. So we all know what we have and what we call as healthcare is actually sick care, right? But we also have one important problem, which is the systemic health inequality, which affects the low-income, underserved population. which I did not hear a lot of people talking about, right? And it actually costs us a lot of money. It costs us $320 billion a year, and it's projected to reach around 1 trillion by 2040. Now, there's enormous amount of evidence that we've accumulated as public health researchers, and we know that these prevention programs can actually save a lot of money, around $3.3 billion a year, if just 5% of the adults participate in one small prevention step. So my name is Bindu Kalesan, and I spent around 20 years as a clinical epidemiologist and public health researcher. And when I look at what I've done, regardless of the innovation, US healthcare has become unsustainable because of this rising chronic diseases. None of what we were doing is working. Exhibit 1, rising obesity. A few years ago, 33%. Now we are at 42%, right? So there are 2 points in healthcare. One is upstream and one is downstream. Where is most of the innovations? They're all downstream, waiting around for people to get sick and let's cure them, right? Let's manage these diseases, right? It's no more sustainable. That game is done because we've got to go upstream because it's full. It's not sustainable. And this is not just me saying it. The entire doctor community, the clinicians are saying it, right? So there are clinicians, when I speak to them, they're like, okay, innovations after innovations, we don't have the time to use these innovations. So that's exactly what we did. A bunch of us, people of color, immigrants, we got together and we said, you know what? We're all overburdened. Let's do this. Let's get together and let's really solve the problem. Let's go to the root of the problem and treat healthcare as truly multidimensional. WHO says healthcare is actually consisting of 8 different dimensions. It's not just sick care. It's not just physical healthcare. So that's how Turi Health was born. It's a digital chronic disease prevention platform to reduce disparities in underserved adults. So we assess the disease risk, identify modifiable risk factors, and we implement customized prevention protocols, which will be guided by humanoid AI using inquiry-based cognitive behavioral learning principles. So we are not talking at people, and we are not throwing some points at them and saying, hey, now here's your discount, go and buy stuff, right? Instead, what we're saying is, we are going to understand you guys. And remember, there are people like me, right? There are people like of different cultures, of different backgrounds. They all do things differently. We even eat our rice differently. We have different cultures, food, our family values are different. So we ask them all these health questions and we really tailor them using AI. And we also do something really fun. We actually give them money. Poor people don't have money to do health, right? We are turning health into a hustle. So we're giving them money to participate in health. So we reward points and we tell them, hey, you know what? You do this, we'll start you with $10. And with this money, we're going to also do something else, because 90% of the entire stocks are owned by 10% of the wealthiest Americans. Now we're going to reverse that, right? Let's get you some stocks too. So we have a fintech partner and we have different, playlists. So we're going to help them invest in stocks and generate wealth. So we're using blockchain, AI technology, deep learning, virtual reality technology to teach for more experiential learning. And our program, I'm an epidemiologist, I do simulations, all sorts of fun stuff. And after doing all the analysis, what I came up with is that our program can reduce 20% of healthcare costs per person per year. And we also know how to do it now. And we are pre-seed, pre-revenue, and our MVP will be ready by the end of November. And we're looking for 1.25 million for 10% equity. So I don't know who are the people who are interested to get on board and help us create that preventive future together. Either way, I want to thank you all for listening. And, I know we are towards the very end, but thank you so much. And please feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm going to drop my details right here in the chat.
Perfect. Thank you, Alex. Does anybody have a quick question?
Yeah. I just want to say I think that was a fantastic pitch. I love your approach to this. I think that you're taking the right questions to ask and answer. And yeah, I want to talk to you afterwards, please. Thank you.
Great. Anybody else real quick? Okay, so maybe next time when you come to join our community, you'll be able to speak earlier in the session, but it was a pleasure to hear you pitch. Up next is Ardelia. You're still on mute.
Okay.
There you go.
Hi everyone. Did you know that wandering is one of the most common symptoms of Alzheimer's? There are 6 million Americans over the age of 65, now that's including our baby boomers, who are living with Alzheimer's, and that number is unfortunately increasing every year. With, of course, like I said, wandering is one of the greatest problems, and with that, 6 out of 10 of these population, they will wander. My name is Ardelia Mays. I'm a registered nurse and the owner and founder of Madix LLC. Madix LLC is a startup company in the emerging field of wearable medical and wellness devices. Our global wearable medical device market is expected to grow from $22.44 billion in 2022 and expected to grow to $46.6 billion in 2026. Our first product that we will be launching is a GPS tracking bracelet, and it's designed and created for our Alzheimer's community who wanders. Our bracelet is low profile, and compared to our competitors, our 2 biggest competitors out there right now is the TriLock and AngelSense. And the benefits of ours is the features that we have the heart rate monitor and the body temperature monitor included in our features. We also have a customized clasp that makes it difficult for the Alzheimer's person to remove. Now, the TriLock also has a security clasp, but theirs require a tool to be removed. Ours will not require a tool. Also, with the technology changing daily, we will continue to look into the different changes in technology and implement that into our product as well. Right now, we only have a prototype, but we're working very hard to get a final product. Our target audience is going to be in the healthcare industry, which will be the hospital, nursing homes, assisted living facilities, memory care centers, but we also will target the individual consumers as well. We are seeking a pre-seed of $500,000 to produce our product development for manufacturing and for launching. We would love to have someone to invest with us and help us become one of the biggest mobile wearable companies and join that $1 billion market as well. Thank you.
Great pitch. Does anybody have a quick question?
I have a really quick question. How much of it is already built?
We have a working prototype right now, and it has the hardware in it. And so we have to get the software and do, other little technicals to get it to the final product.
Okay, I'm interested in checking out the deck and seeing how I can help.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I will send that to you. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm sort of moving us along because we're a few minutes past when I was trying to end our event, but nevertheless, meet in the chat. We have one more person that's raised their hand. Sean, you're our last presenter of today.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, everybody.
We can hear you.
Great. Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm honored to be here. I am Sean Hackey. I'm the founder of Lumino, and we're helping farmers fight climate change and be profitable at the same time. So I'm actually here just not really pitching, but just to say hi to people. Pretty early stage. This is my second startup. Just talking to people in the biotech space, climate tech, etc. And just want to reach out and hear what people are working on and see if anybody would like to talk. Basically, we are taking the genetic superpowers of desert plants, adding them to crop varieties that already exist, and giving them not only climate resilience, but the ability to fight climate change directly.
Interesting. Well, Sean, my recommendation is come back on a Wednesday and try and be an earlier person to pitch than the last person on an event that has gone on now for 2 hours plus. Because I'd like to learn more about it. It's slightly off topic a little bit from our more focus tonight, which is healthcare related types of industries. But I would like to just make a couple of final comments, and then we're gonna wrap up today's event. First of all, I want to thank all of you for staying to the very end. What an amazing audience you all are, that you keep coming back to all of these Venture Starter community events. I'm blown away by how big we have become so quickly. Thank you to all of you individually and as a group. I hope you'll come and join us on our regular every Wednesday events. We are going to take a little time off for Thanksgiving and the Christmas break, but in general, the whole idea is let's meet every Wednesday. All of you have an opportunity to get to really know people so that you're not pitching total strangers. The way to raise money now and then probably through next year is to get to know people personally, so you're just not in a beauty pageant in front of investors pitching total strangers and having to try and raise your money that way. The more people you know, the more people who will make key introductions, warm introductions, and we actually do have investors that attend our events. I know they can't invest like myself and everybody, it's just too much, but there are investors here and they may be able to also introduce you to other investors. Our Wednesday events typically have a little bit more investors that attend than our special events on Saturdays. We are going to do another life science event in the beginning of December. It's on the calendar at the venturestarters.com website. If you don't visit our website, you won't know what's going on. Please occasionally visit venturestarters.com. If you'd like to talk to me directly, I'm happy to meet with you individually on Zoom. And if you do that, you can find my calendar in about 20 minutes at the bottom of the venturestarters.com website with some new openings. I understand that all of the ones that were available were taken in the first hour of our event. Thank you to all of you. You are an amazing group of people. The IQ in this room today was blow away. The number, if we could get all these projects funded, we are going to be saving lives all over the place, and we're going to be able to help improve people's quality of life and mental health. There were so many good ideas. I mean, my mind is just exploding from all the brilliance of all of your great ideas that you're doing. You know, one of the things that I'm going to be focusing on next year is starting a fund called the Venture Starters Fund to help move along some investments. If any of you actually have previously had experience managing a fund or are licensed, I'd like to talk to you about it. I'm only interested in having people who have licenses and experience involved in this another chapter of where Venture Starters is going. The community is growing strong and big. Thank you for all of your suggestions as to how to improve the events. I love all of them. I'm trying to incorporate them in. For those of you who've been sending me decks, I'm a little behind because this event has become so big so fast. It's hard for me to keep up, but my assistants and I are doing the best we can. We do need a break here coming up for Thanksgiving, I have to say, just to catch our breaths. But this has been a marvelous opportunity for me personally to get to know so many of you. You're amazing. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you again.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wonderful event as always.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much. It's great.
Cheers.
Oh, also, you can get a copy of the chat, I think, before we close up the event. Just a suggestion, and that's it for tonight. See you Wednesday. Hopefully you can come on one of our future Wednesday events. You're welcome to pitch there as well. And we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks,
Bye.
Mark. Appreciate it.